We're in one half of our cellar, where the furnace and the oil tank are also. In the remaining space, I've wedged in a couple of benches and my table saw. It's sawdusty as hell. I know essentially what I want to do. My name's Mike Luce. I live in Portland, Maine. I'm currently building my mother's casket. Mom died on February 8th, 3 days shy of her 94th birthday. Her name was Ruth Lavinia Luce. The funeral home folks were nice enough. They said they would keep her there until I had the casket finished. And so I'm just puttering away at it and getting it done faster than I do some projects. I do all of this by hand, so it's a little more time consuming. If it was just done by machine, it looks like it was done by machine. It's just too perfect, and that's not life. Perfect isn't real, so I don't strive for perfect. I strive for fulfilling. Part of it is it's one last thing I can do for her, and it's a way of processing and making it real. I think that she really is gone. I think it helps my body know that. And it just feels good. I don't know what else to say. When I'm working on the casket, it feels good to be doing that. And I'll be sorry when I'm done. But she didn't meet my dad until she was about 40. She just waited that long to find the right man, I think. And then I asked her, well, what do you do on your first date? And the spark comes back to her eye, and she just looks at me and she said, oh, we fooled around. And that was all she had to say on that subject. One of her salient characteristics that I think she passed on to me was to always take the other guy's side. The last few years, I told her she had tough old bird syndrome, and she liked that. This is a Japanese pull saw, and it works different from American saws in that you push on those. And this, you're pulling towards you, and there is something spiritual about bringing the work into you.
30 years ago, somebody said, you're going to marry somebody who's going to make his mother's casket. I would have had to say, oh, yeah, right. Hey, what am I going to do, move to Maine? Or, only in Maine would they do something like this.
My name is Chris Luce, and I am Mike's wife.
I think the whole idea of, 2 days wake, bury him, we're done. It needs to be done, but that's where a lot of our problems come out of. We didn't have to rush. We were able to live our lives side by side with this.
It was just like, I think the next day after she passed, I was in the car with Chris, I think, and I said, I think I'm going to build her casket.
And I said, of course he is. That's how he processes stuff, is down in his workshop.
And sometimes I'll get into what I think is a groove, and grooves and ruts are very similar. Woodworking reminds me of that. To think, to be mindful. Don't move too fast. Because she wouldn't do a living will kind of thing and make these decisions herself. It fell to me to finally make the decision to take her off her cardiac meds and make the final decision. Yes, this is it. And then it took like a day and a half. I'd come and sit with her. And I'd just go in and let her know I was there, hold her hand, and talk to her. and mostly sit silently. And the hard part about it was listening to her breathe, listening to the fluid fill up. There were like, I think 3 or 4 episodes when the breathing would stop. And you could see a little bit of struggle. So when I thought, this is it. And then it wasn't. That was very tough. Because, I wanted her to be able to go, I guess. And then finally she went. And I said goodbye and left. It's a cold and rainy day. The casket is completed, and it's waiting to go into the car so I can bring it over to the funeral home. I'm just going to be picking it up and sort of putting it on my head from the inside and walking up the stairs with it. Their first soul is even out there, discreet from the others, looking down, and that's wonderful. It's just, the next part of the relationship. I think it's right. It's very organic. My mother dies. I'm able to make her casket. I'm lucky.